Good morning, good morning, good morning! Welcome back to Children's Church. I'm so glad to have you here with me. And we're here in the first week of April, and we're also in the run-up to Easter. And today we're in the book of Big John, chapter 2, verse 13. Jesus at the temple. Yes, again, but it's different this time. The Jewish Passover was near, so Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple complex, he found people selling oxen, sheep, and doves. He also found money changers sitting there. After making a whip out of cords, he drove everyone out of the temple complex with their sheep and oxen. He also poured out the money changers' coins and overturned the tables. He told those who were selling doves, "Get these things out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a marketplace." And his disciples remembered that it is written, "Zeal for your house will consume me." So the Jewish people replied to him, "What sign of authority will you show us for doing these things?" Jesus answered, "Destroy this sanctuary, and I will raise it up in 3 days." Therefore the Jewish people said, "This sanctuary took 46 years to build, and you will raise it up in 3 days?" But he was speaking about the sanctuary of his body. So when he was raised from the dead, his disciples remembered he had said this, and they believed the scripture and the statement Jesus had made. While he was in Jerusalem at the Passover festival, many trusted in his name when they saw the signs he was doing. Jesus, however, would not entrust himself to them, since he knew them all, and because he did not need anyone to testify about man, for he himself knew what was in man. I love that story. All through scripture, we hear things that Jesus is human. I kind of love that Jesus has a temper. Jesus was fully God and fully man. He had human emotions like the rest of us, and people doing the wrong things in the house of God made him so mad, he went outside and made himself a whip to drive them out of his Father's house. Something about the image of that really just makes Miss Mandy laugh a lot. Jesus going outside and braiding a leather whip. This takes some time, guys. This was a premeditated action. Jesus didn't just send them a strongly worded letter. He directly drove them out of the temple. And when they asked on his authority, he did it. He said, "My Father's." Because, of course, that's whose authority he was there on. Now, like I said, we're in the run-up to Easter. So that is Jesus talking about what he knows is to come. Take down this sanctuary, meaning Jesus' body, and it will be rebuilt in 3 days. Meaning he would rise again. And the disciples would look back on this story and go, "Oh, that's what that meant." Which feels a little bit like being in school and you're like, "Why am I learning this?" And then the next thing you have to do, you have to be able to do that thing, and you're like, "Oh, well, now I feel silly." That's not the point. There is a point, I promise. The Lord's house is supposed to be a house of prayer. Now, why what these people were doing was wrong was people were supposed to bring sacrifices, and they made it so that the only sacrifices that were found worthy were the ones you bought in the temple. They were being cruel to people who were just trying to follow God's commandments to make money off of them. That's why Jesus was so angry. It was a righteous fury. And again, I really just love the image of Jesus going, "Not in my house. Absolutely not. I'm coming in there. I'm coming in there, and I'm going to deal with you before God does. Oh, wait, I'm part of God. Nope, God's dealing with you." What I want you guys to remember is that God's house is supposed to be a house of prayer. It is a place to come and commune with God and fellowship with other believers. I also want you to remember that Jesus was, in fact, human. He was a person. He had a temper. He had feelings. And sometimes he expressed them in the best possible manner. That's what I want you guys to remember for this week. Next week we'll be back with Palm Sunday or the Triumphal Entry. And I'll see you guys then. Bye.